Imagine being 12 years old, kidnapped, and sold into a life of exploitation and abuse. Unfortunately, that is the case for millions of children around the world. Children make up half of the victims of human trafficking. Child sex trafficking is a topic that is often swept under the rug, but it is a harsh reality that is happening all around us. Children are being exploited and abused for the pleasure and profit of others. As a society, we need to put our foot down. It is time to take a stand and put an end to child sex trafficking. Child sex trafficking is a form of child abuse that occurs when a child under 18 is advertised, solicited, or exploited through a commercial sex act. A commercial sex act is any sex act where something of value such as money, food, drugs, or a place to stay is given to or received by any person for sexual activity. According to UNICEF, child trafficking does not only occur to people in other countries, but the U.S. is considered one of the top destination points for victims of child trafficking and exploitation. Approximately 1.2 million children are trafficked each year for sexual exploitation. That is one child every 26 seconds. Traffickers are master manipulators and prey on the vulnerabilities of children, using false promises only to be trapped in a nightmare of abuse and exploitation. Children should experience being children. Instead, they are suffering from the abuse and exploitation. Victims endure physical injuries, sexually transmitted infections, and severe psychological trauma. They are denied education, proper health care, and a safe environment. No child is safe from being a victim to child sex trafficking. These children become hardened by the dangerous environment in which they must learn to survive. These child victims also need specialized services that are not widely available, given that they often have drug addictions, physical and sexual trauma, and total dependence on their abusers. And that is another reason why victims of child sex trafficking have a hard time pointing out their abusers or coming forward to incriminate them, because they're so dependent, or because they have so much fear of what could possibly happen to them because of all the trauma they've endured, and they're being told that if they tell or they're able to get away and they come forward, something bad will happen to them, unfortunately. So a lot of them just don't come forward and tell on them. One of the main reasons why child sex trafficking is so widespread is a high demand for it. There are people who are willing to pay for the sexual services of a child. These predators come from all walks of life, and they are often hard to identify. Let's think about it. These people could be your neighbor, your coworker, your roommate, or even a family member. It is a disturbing reality that anyone could be a potential perpetrator, and we'd have absolutely no idea because they cover themselves up so well. And it's not like they're putting themselves out there and telling people that that's what they are. The demand for this industry is not the only problem, but the lack of awareness and action is also a major issue. Many people are unaware that this is happening in their own communities, but even if they do know, they may not know how to help. It is up to us as a society to educate ourselves and others about this global issue and take action to prevent it. What can we do to put an end to child sex trafficking? First, we need to support organizations that are working to rescue and support victims. Secondly, we can support legislation that aims to prevent and prosecute traffickers. By putting pressure on our governments to take actions, we can make a difference. If we can push for them to get harsher punishment, or even like registered sex offenders or anything, to push and be harder and stricter on them so they don't see that it's easy to just get away with it and keep doing the same thing. Also being vigilant. So if you see something, say something. I know everybody sometimes is scared to say something because it's like, oh, you know, people are so used to like mind your business, but if you see something, say something. Lastly, providing services to victims, including medical care, counseling, and education to help them rebuild their lives. Because as a victim, once they're out of that, they have a hard time coming back to their real world because of all the abuse and all the trauma they have, and they need all the help they can get with counseling services, education, just to get back into like live a normal life. Today I've explained the reality of child sex trafficking, its causes, and the need for action. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering of innocent children. It is up to us to put our foot down and put an end to it. We need to support organizations that are working to end trafficking, educate ourselves and others on this issue, and advocate for change. Together, we can create a world where every child is protected and does not have to endure the horrors of child sex trafficking. Thank you.